Hi, welcome. We're at this wonderful live stream event, 3:30 on a. Is it Saturday? Sorry? Yes, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
It is
yeah.
Saturday.
I'm losing track of the days here. I'm Steve. I am the host from Fix It Anyway, a YouTube channel where we mess around with Nerf blasters essentially most of the time. And I have with me these three wonderful guys from the Royal Holloway Humans vs Zombies Student Society, who are running the invitational event 28 Dance Later in a few weeks' time. Now, we're here to talk about the Royal Holloway 28 Darts Later event. At this time, it's the UK's only HVZ as an invitational, and it's held over a weekend in July this year at the famous and glamorous Royal Holloway University of London campus, which has a castle on it, I believe they say. I do remember that because I played there last time. So in this stream, we're going to cover 4 things. If you're watching this after the event, they'll be in the description below as timestamps. We're going to go through an outline of the 2023 game. We're going to go through game information, basics, so you know, loos, parking, safe zones, accommodations, rules and loadouts. That's the second thing. Third thing, tips from the mods from these guys for 2023, and then we're going to get on to, if we've got time, and we've saved a bit of time extra for this if we do run out, from stories from 2022, because I think that's one of the most interesting bits. It was a really good game last year, and it would be lovely to share that with everybody. I've got the chat on down here, and where are we? If you've got anything to ask us, any questions, pop that in the chat. Without further ado then, let's get on to introductions, and we're going to go around in the order I've got everybody on my screen here. So Ashton first, if you could just introduce yourself, tell us about what you do and how you play and plan the game.
Alright, hello, I'm Aston. I'm technically no longer a student as of last week, but I've been here, as some people put it, since the shadows first lengthened, making HVZ for 4 years. I decided to run an invitation last year with the help of my committee and a lot of mods. First one of its kind went really well, biggest HVZ the UK's ever seen, and I decided that, you know, let's do it again, let's make it a yearly thing. Passing on to this committee, where I'm now helping them make it as my last game as a student. Yeah, it's good fun.
Wonderful. We're still getting a chunk of echo from you, but I think we all got that. So yes, you've been, you do seem to have been making these games for quite some time. And I'm very grateful for you and for everyone else actually for last year's game, which was absolutely fantastic. Ali, how about you?
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm this upcoming year's president of HVZ. I was a fresher, well, technically this end of this year, last year, however you want to do it. I've modded a bunch of games, I've planned a bunch of games, and this will be my first invitational, and I'm really excited and looking forward to bringing great gameplay.
Very good. And Jules, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Jules. I was president, well, technically still am president of HVZ at Royal Holloway, 2022-2023 year. And yeah, been at the university for 3 years, playing the game for 2, and looking forward to another year of it after this. Should be a good time.
Wonderful. Okay, YouTube is complaining about something to do with buffering, so we might have a bit of buffering for everybody. Hopefully they can still hear us, even if we are glitching out on video. I can't really tell. It's just sort of giving me a general complaint, but it seems all right from where I'm sitting. Let me know if you guys have any issues in your room. So let's talk about briefly then, before we go into the specifics of the game this year and the sort of, you know, the basics, the loose parking, etc. If you could give us, we'll go around again, but or whoever maybe, who you may want to nominate somebody, mightn't you? I didn't nominate anyone. I nominated Jules. It looks like in my script. To get us started perhaps on the next bit, but I didn't actually nominate anyone for this bit. So the basic structure then of the game this year, what do people need to know? What do new and returning players need to know about how the game, the outline of the game, what it's going to be about? You know, we know it's going to be on campus, we know it's going to be humans versus zombies, but what other things do we need to know in overview? Who's in charge of that this year?
I guess that's me this year.
Very good.
And
Just quickly, guys, some people are saying the stream link doesn't work.
Interesting.
Steve, if you look at the group chat we have, Rose says it doesn't work.
Oh, interesting. I've not got that. Yeah, that's really interesting. Let me just get the stream link then from here. YouTube is complaining, but I didn't know that meant that it had broken the stream. let me just pull that out for everybody and see if I can get to it for them. It's wonderful, isn't it? Maybe we're using some, I don't know, something that we weren't using last time. Bear with me 1 second, I'll just get that done. Okay, connection is excellent, so it says. Let's see what it says. YouTube's saying it's got an excellent connection, which hopefully has resolved the issues for anyone who was watching and having problems. It looks like it's not private. It seems to have gone live. So, okay, we just did our introductions. It might be worth just running around quickly again, and I'll flag that in the timestamps below. If there are any glitches, hopefully they've gone now, and we can continue. So, back to Ashton. Just tell us quickly about yourself, and then we'll move on to what we were talking about when all of the stream glitched out, which was an outline of the 2023 game. So, just introduce yourself, Ashton, and we'll get back to it.
Yeah, so I was president before Jules. I've been making games for 4 years now through COVID, through getting the Smart Black Ops after COVID. I've made more games than I can remember the names of. Last year decided why not invite everyone else that does Nerf to our lovely campus to play, HVZ in Hogwarts. And then that went really well, everyone enjoyed it, so we decided, we'll do it again. Not with me at the helm, with Jules at the helm, passed it all off to him. It's his problem now. Yeah, and that's what we're doing this year.
Wonderful. Ali, back to you. Second time, deja vu, but yes, just let us have a quick intro.
Yeah, I'm Ali. I'm this upcoming year's president, after Jules. I was a fresher, well, technically still am until my grades come through. And I've been making games, I've been modding games for a year, so that was really cool. And this will be my first invitational. I'm really excited for it, and I'm looking forward to creating some really good stuff for everyone to enjoy.
That's great, and I'm looking forward to that as well, actually, because I don't have any secret information on what the game is actually going to look like. I'm going to find out at the same time as all of you guys, and I'm very excited for that. Last year's was good, and I don't know if there's any competition to make it better or not, but I'll let you sort that out between yourselves. So, Jules, just let us know a little bit about yourself, and hopefully we'll be back up and running. I'll let the chat know that it should be fine now.
Cool. So, yeah, I'm Jules. I am the middle child of this meeting, having picked up from Aston and about to hand over to Ali. And yeah, I've been, as I said, playing the game for about 2 years, been at the university for 3, and I'm here for one more after this year, so I'm really looking forward to playing this game and seeing what Ali does for the sub for next year. It'll be a good time.
Great. And where we were at just before we glitched out, we had Jules. You were just telling us about a very basic overview of the event. Ashton's already said you're basically playing in Hogwarts, which is incredibly exciting. I did enjoy the background, even though it was off limits because of a wedding for day one. So yeah, just let us quickly know about the event.
So starting off, we've got yes, another wedding at Founders.
Wonderful.
Which will be building again around working arounds on the days. But yeah, for the people who attended last year's Invitational, you'll be very familiar with the setup. 2 days of gameplay with 3 major missions apiece, and each of those, and in between each of the 3 major missions, there will be day activities for people to get involved in. We make full use of the campus or everywhere we're allowed to be doing weddings. And yeah, you'll all have an amazing time being chased up and down.
Very good. That sounds like a really excellent time. So what we thought people might want to know actually is, because I struggled with this the first time I came, is the sort of basic game information. YouTube is now complaining to me that my stream's bitrate is too high. But hopefully it does say that it's stopped, but I think that was probably from earlier. It does look like it's glitched out ever so slightly, but the time is still running, so hopefully even if it's complaining about the bitrate, they can still hear us. So yeah, it was the things that the basics really that I struggled with as a returning player this time and as a new player last time. It would be useful to know what the basics are in terms of safe zones, accommodation, loos, parking, all of those bits and bobs before we move on to rules and loadouts and really get into sort of the meat of the game.
As far as parking goes, we are organising parking permits for people who are coming to the campus. Obviously, they're quickly running out. Messaging in the 28 Ups Later Discord server. If you're not in there, you should join in there. That's where all the information for the game is going to be coming out on. But send a message in there if you're in need of parking, and we'll try and get a permit sorted for you. But as we say, they are running out quite quickly. So if you don't get in quick, you might end up having to park around the university and around the side streets and stuff.
Okay, very yeah. It was the library car park, wasn't it, last time that I managed to sort of sneak into it?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, you'll the college will just give us like a car park to park in. And I'll say this now, and so no one does it. If you have not explicitly been told that you can park on campus, like last year I did a big email with everyone's details in. If you haven't been told that you can park on campus, do not park on campus. You will get a hefty ANPR fine.
Wow.
Yeah, and they will steal your soul from your body and evict it. Like, they do not play.
Yeah, we've got campus security gun towers have been erected.
That sounds absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, that they drive around in their little police mobile looking for all of the tickets that they can get.
Yeah, the security golf cart.
Yeah.
Is a menace.
Do you have a real security golf cart? My gosh.
You do.
Do I do?
Quite a few.
That is a little bit concerning. Right, I just messed around with the audio levels ever so slightly. Nobody has told me it's stopped, so I assume it's still running. So that's all fine. And loos, there wasn't a problem with that last time. It seemed that between missions there was plenty of time to go back to the library. Although, if the library is going to be our safe zone this year, for human players at least, well, actually it was for both teams, wasn't it? It does end up being a bit of a kill zone. It was on day 2, if I remember rightly. So people should probably be aware that they should not be just nonchalantly going in and out of the library when there's a big horde around.
We've got some extra special stuff planned for you guys for this year in terms of safe zones, in terms of areas on campus where you'll be able to hide out. I don't know, Aston, how much information do we want to divulge here?
It's your game, bro. Go
yeah, I know.
Whatever you want to say, you can say.
So we're experimenting with something that we've done before in our local games, but it's the first time we were bringing it to the Invitational. Specific home bases for each of the different factions will have. People who were here last year will remember that humans and zombies were split into various factions. We've got a similar mechanic going on this year, but you'll have your own individual safe zones for the factions that you're in. And there will be elements of player versus player outside of the player versus zombie. Player versus zombie. So you're going to want to stick together with your team and be cautious of the other humans, because they could throw a spanner in your works. You'll be able to defend and protect your safe zones from zombies. You also have to be defending and protecting your safe zones from the other humans who might want to do you some harm. So.
Okay, so actually, that changes loadouts a little bit, doesn't it? If you're going to be playing.
The way we'll put it is, the zombies are everyone's enemy, but there's not enough resources to go around.
Okay, fair enough. I see. Yes. What was that? I can't remember the name of the. I was listening to this on 5 Minute Respawn this morning. The name of that zombie show where they were saying, the zombies aren't your enemy, essentially. The other people. Watch out for the other people. Don't worry about the zombies.
Humans are the real monsters. Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So cool. And so we've covered that a little bit. So basically 2 days of zombie blasting stroke human hunting action, depending on your faction. There were various socials last year and sub games and quests. Presumably we're going to have that again, because those were quite good fun.
Yeah, definitely. Throughout the day, in between each of the 6 major missions we'll have over the two different days, we'll have day play for humans and zombies to complete, which will earn you bonuses in terms of areas which become safe for you on campus, upgrades and special abilities that you can unlock on mission, various things that'll just make your life a lot easier as a human or make your hunting a lot more prosperous as a zombie.
Okay. That makes sense. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, and a dart sweep on the Monday afterwards. That's going to happen again, isn't it, this year?
It will be. Yep. Anybody who can stick around, please do. We'll be combing through campus, making sure that none of the darts get eaten by local ferrets or whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to take some leave. I've got some quite pricey ammo I was thinking of flinging as well, because it was really expensive when I bought all my darts. So I kind of want them back. And I don't know if you can see behind me. You guys might not be able to. I've got the old flak there, which takes shells. So I don't really want to be littering shells all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't mind if I lose a few or they get put in the bin, but I will try and clean up after myself. I will probably get nommed straight away if that's going to be my priority, because the reload rate is ridiculous. It's like, I don't know, it's like a minute to get the thing back up and running. So yeah, that might not be the best idea I've ever had. Okay, so we were doing quite well. I'm just checking the timings, but they were for a 3 o'clock start. So I just need to check where we are and make sure we're not going to overrun, because I do want to hear the good stories that we've got to tell. So we've talked about some of the features of the game. Ali, Ashton, have you got anything you wish to add about main rules or anything that's a bit different, anything that people are going to either be surprised by or excited by, the same as last year or compared with last year?
I think one of the major changes we've made this year, not just for 28 Days Later, but for our local games as well, is we have deleted the concept of OZs. They were such a divisive force last year. We'd never done a game where they didn't start with OZs. We did one. It was a colossal failure. But then we decided after last year to just get rid of the mechanic, and this year we've run every game with a starting horde instead, and it's gone way better. It's been more fun for zombies because they don't have to worry about what if they accidentally tag the OZ, what if they have to play around the OZ. It's been more fun for humans because they don't have to constantly walk around and shoot their friends. They just get to shoot the people. Like, it's very clear, oh, they're in a headband, shoot them. They're in an armband, don't shoot them. So we've canned that. I think it's the biggest change we've made since last year, based on player feedback. I think a lot of people have been a lot happier to see just a horde coming at them and not having to worry about Gary behind them, who could be a secret zombie.
Yes, it was Alex last year, wasn't it?
It was Alex and Rosa.
And I remember, because I remember talking to Alex saying, "Oh, you've turned up with like just a Magnus." I quite like a Magnus myself, and he seemed very confused. He just went, somebody gave this to me. I'm not sure. It's my friend's." And I was like, "Is that your blaster? Oh God, keep away from me! Keep away from me!" So I should have really known, shouldn't I? But yeah, it was really good, and it was very, very scary. There was a lot of sock tag for the first mission. Everybody was just playing sock ball. So that, I think that concludes our sort of overview. So let's move on to a bit more specific about, firstly, rules. We've done the general information. So actually, firstly, just any other rules for this year that, or actually maybe just a sort of briefing. We've got a rules slide, haven't we? Here, let me get that up for us. It's of course the wrong size because YouTube has gone a bit funny, hasn't it? Right, let's get that actually the correct size for us all. So I've just got this here. You guys were given it by Rosa, but I can read it out for us, and then we'll discuss that. And afterwards, we'll have a little talk about how those rules affect loadouts before we get back to stories and other things. If anyone's got anything they want to be covered, there are at least 1 or 2 people watching this. Let's stick it in the chat, and we'll see if we can cover it. So I have the 28 Darts Later rules slide, which says, set on a beautiful green campus in the idyllic summertime full of friendly folks. Nearly everywhere outdoors is in play 24 hours of a day, which I think is different from last year. And creative classes and mechanics, which you can go into a bit more detail on that, because actually that's probably slightly different. We didn't have so many classes, I don't think, last year. Multiple missions every day is fine. Fields, forests, concrete jungles, and tight corridors. That suggests indoor play, maybe, that I didn't have last time. And day play tasks and objectives, so you need to be always on the lookout or on the hunt. Okay, so let's go to nearly anywhere outdoors on campus is in play 24 hours a day. Ali, what did you have to say about that? I thought it's a departure from last year, if I remember rightly.
So there are obviously the academic buildings which you can't go into. The library is like the safe zone. I think there was a conversation about night play at one point, although I might have to pass to my more experienced predecessors for this, because I have the memory of a goldfish, and often if I do not have a list of things to say, I will forget, so I want to make sure I get the right information out there properly.
Fair enough.
Speaking of that, we don't want people to get shot in the head. That's the only rule I was thinking about, like, throughout this. Okay, so I'm a zombie main, to preface this.
Okay.
When I play, and I don't mod the games, I prefer to play zombie start zombie. And so, obviously, because this is a higher, frame, like, shootout game, like, it's a lot, the darts are flying a lot faster than we usually have. Obviously, last year I do believe you guys did have, the goggles as well. We're going to be continuing that. And just please, no headshots. I beg you. I've been shot in the eye so many times.
Yeah.
And especially with half darts as well, they can fly faster.
They have hard tips too, quite hard tips for
Pain.
those workers and stuff. Thanks for that, because that's a really good point. Rosa's just come in on the chat and said actually the rules have changed since 24-hour play. Since the slide was made.
Yeah,
obviously all evolves, and we set this up, and it's my fault, for like a month ago, and it didn't get off the ground because my 2 computers broke. So we got one question in the chat asking about a wedding. Yes, there is a wedding. We did cover that earlier, I think.
It's like tradition now. Love does not stop in the apocalypse, apparently. So we gotta have like this beautiful woman in her amazing white dress running through Hogwarts, pursued by 50 bloodthirsty zombies and an even angrier horde of like people trying to shoot them with Nerf guns. I think that's the perfect backdrop, don't you think? But no, actually, like we can't go near the wedding, or we will be in serious trouble, and the university gods will not smile upon us anymore.
Yeah, I understand who the university and their gods, working at the university myself. So it's a bit terrifying, isn't it? Trying to get the permission of, I imagine, infinite people. Because universities are governed by, 3 different governing boards at least? Usually.
Yeah.
And the SCU as well, which is real good fun. So, great. So, yeah, no headshots. I was a zombie for most of the second day last time, and I just got absolutely pelted and came out looking like I'd been in a paintball game. Bruises, and lots of them were on my head.
we're gonna say, like, we know that the weather's gonna be like really hot, so firstly stay hydrated. We don't want anyone dying of heat stroke. That's a lot of paperwork for me to fill out because it's my job now, and if someone dies, I personally resurrect them, murder them again, and then put them down in the ground like real nice. So yes, please stay hydrated. 2, if you want to wear some sort of protection in your, like, more I care about you reason, like, places, so you don't get shot there, that might be a good idea.
I suggest Sajan wears that. He gets shot in the balls every game.
Every
game.
It happens every time.
Every time someone shoots him in the balls, it's normally me.
Yeah. I've done it a couple times. That was pretty good, yeah.
Does this guy need some kind of like cricket gear, right? Oh, God.
Yeah. So and just be aware that like the darts will be flying at you quite fast if you get zombified. So please be careful and take care of your bruises afterwards. If you are lucky enough to not get any, you've been smiled upon. I am never smiled upon. I come out looking like a bruised apple most of the time, but it's fine.
Yeah. I will save complaining about FPS caps, but like Nerf shouldn't really hurt you, and if the players can not blast each other in the face, that would be great. I'll try not to.
Yeah.
And my aim is terrible too, so I'm probably just as bad.
Mine's also awful. It's okay.
We're expecting pinpoint accuracy, but only when we're zombies.
Yeah.
I think the biggest change that we're making from last year to this year that will affect Loadouts specifically, definitely at least 2 people, is that we're banning proton packs.
Yes. That's not allowed anymore.
Yeah. So for anybody out there who doesn't know what a proton pack is, it's basically a backpack filled with Nerf rival ammunition that loads into a very specific type of blaster called the Jupiter, which is incredibly fast firing. You almost never need to reload, and is absolutely horrifying to fight if you're a zombie. And
is it like
we
40
want
darts per second, something like that? Sorry.
Yeah, with a hop up, it's 40 rowables per second.
Yeah.
And the pack holds anywhere between 200 to 1,000 balls, depending on which one you get.
Oh my gosh.
And
so it's an incredible gun, but it makes zombieing a lot less fun. The morale drops.
yeah, we've had somebody using one in our local sort of meta before we had to ban it locally, and then we decided after the last invitational, and I think somebody brought one then too, and after a few more local games with them, we decided that it's in everybody's best interest. And after a lot of complaints from zombies about having to run into an impenetrable wall of yellow foam, that they should be left out for
We basically came to in the design phase of this game, we came to the conclusion that we could either give every zombie a shield, as funny as that would be, As funny as it'd be to have on every mission a perfect 256-man Macedonian undead phalanx, it wasn't worth it. So we decided to just say, like, guys, you got to reload at some point.
Yeah. It is worth noticing though that the blaster that the prototype connects to, the juicer, that is still absolutely fine. And you can, if you've got a juicer, you're more than welcome to bring that along. But if you just use a standard 10 or 12 round rifle magazine instead of the pack, that would be good.
It's actually quite interesting because we recently in one of our home games we had this hula hoop that if you shot through. I killed Jules with this last game. If there was a hula hoop and if you shoot through the hoop, you're like, what is it, rooted? Was it rooted and wounded or full wounded?
Rooted and wounded, full wounded, yeah.
Rooted and full wounded. There was a time frame, but anyway, it was very funny because I was zombieing and I ran full pelt, like max speed up a hill and around trying to get him to shoot in the hoop, and I did kill him eventually, but it took me a while. But I think that would be quite funny with a proton pack at one point.
Yeah,
imagine
I
impenetrable wall.
Time, and it was. I don't think there were many balls in the hopper left by the time I came across it, but it was, yeah. And is it right? I don't know if am I going to out anyone here, but is it right that there's also an ecological concern about the balls?
We got in. So we got in trouble with the campus. What are they called? They Campus like Wildlife Society that the students are a part of, because they were saying that they had a lot of shrews had died, and I said, well, how was that? Why are you telling me? What? I murdered the shrews, and they said, well, they died after they ate a lot of Nerf darts, and we went, oh, so now we have to be way better at cleanup, because we last year, like not specifically because of the invitational, but over the year we had a little bit of an ecological impact.
Yeah. It was shrews and comp sci students that.
It was interesting last time because the dart sweep was actually, and there's another incentive to this. Otherwise, it do save the planet and the shrews and the comp sci students. But just the other incentive was, of course, because I didn't really have a lot of half darts in my arsenal. I came with full darts last time. Bristol Blast and some others I've seen in their dart pools have half darts these days. But I ordered some worker darts, a couple of hundred like you do, because I've got a lot of short dart stuff now. And it just turned out that from last year's dart sweep, and just as I went along, I didn't even come on the Monday, I had over 100 short darts just from the dump pouch that I took to the game and found again this year when I was getting ready. So that's a good incentive to kind of make sure that you're saving the shrews. Stick it in your dump pouch, not in the wildlife. So I think that's covered pretty much what we need to know about rules and stuff. Was there anyone? And did you want to say anything, Ashton, Julian, or even Ali? Actually, because you might have touched on it earlier. Classes. What is there some difference last year? I don't know what classes. We didn't have so many classes last year, did we?
Before we get into classes, just something from earlier I remember now. The admin for this game took a bit of a turn when the college redid their safety rules on campus. Okay. So last game we put down objectives at night and told everyone to go nuts and go and find this objective, whatever. We can't do that anymore. The college have said absolutely no play at night. We'd love to, but it was a choice between no event or no night play. We picked no night play. Okay. So we're not putting any objectives out at night. There will be no incentives for you to be outside after the last mission, but obviously we cannot stop you leaving your hotel rooms.
And we cannot stop zombies from leaving their hotel rooms either.
We cannot stop zombies from also leaving their hotel rooms, but we will be providing you with no incentive to be outside.
Okay, fair enough. But play is still on, from the looks of the...
Play is still on, but there will be nothing to encourage you to do it other than your own sense of let's go murder every zombie.
Yeah, okay, you can still register tags, and we won't go, oh, the tag happened at the tag happened at 9 o'clock. You can't do that. Okay. But there won't be what did we have last time? The skull.
The skull. I've got.
Yeah, there will be no skull. There will be no hidden stuff. There will be nothing outside at night. That skull. That.
Yeah. Was that?
There will be nothing outside at night for you to go outside for. If the humans and the zombies want to camp each other for the infamous midnight McDonald's run, go nuts. But we won't be providing you any reason to be outside.
Yeah, that will make McDonald's much scarier. You're going to get hunted. It'd be like one of those stories from the States where you can't go to Wendy's or whatever because the zombies are just outside
Yeah.
and people are legging it through the kitchen. Okay, that's interesting. I do remember that skull from last year. Was it Ryan? I don't want to get into game stories slightly too early, but was it Ryan from Tropical Thunder or Tropicana Thunder? I forget what they call their team. Who just one man went and got the skull last time, just legged it around until they found it. Was that right? I can't remember the story. There was quite a story.
I can't remember. I think I was asleep by the time the skull happened.
I was asleep as well, yeah. or awake because I had a 2-year-old at the time. Who is there now?
Ben. I thought it might have been Ben.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Right, cool. So I think we've got all of that. We were going to talk about classes. Is it worth talking about that? The next thing to go on to, we'll go till about 4:30, and then as soon as we can after we've done the next bit, which will be 3 out of 4, the tips from mods part, we'll get on to the stories because that's the really interesting bit, and I want to make sure that we've got some time for that. But did we want to touch on classes before we move on to sort of? I'll go around everybody and get your individual tips for this year's game. We'll roll loadouts into that because I think we haven't covered it quite yet. So anything on classes that we need to know or that we're going to expect, or is it a case of turn up and find out?
So classes that we've got for this game they've got the same names as the classes that we had last game, but they're going to be flavoured slightly differently. So we're going to have mutants, cultists, and bandits.
Right.
And whether or not we decide we pick for you on the day, or you like to choose which one you'd like to be in, or if you put out a form, we'll decide that closer to the time. But those are the 3 classes that we're working with, and we've got various mod costumes for the mods that are representing each of the classes. They'll be running around looking the part too, and each set of classes, or each of the 3, will have their own distinct bonuses and abilities that they can unlock throughout the game. So that'll give each one a bit of extra flavour. And as I mentioned before, each of the 3 classes will have their own strongholds on campus, which will be, which as day play continues, as the game goes on, each one will have various defences and have the possibility of becoming safe zones, which each members of that class will have to work towards for getting their stronghold to be as secure as possible.
So that is much more of a PvP aspect. Yeah. I didn't appreciate that actually.
Yeah. Oh.
That's very interesting.
And yeah, as we said, there will be combat between the different factions between the classes, which we didn't have last year at all. So hopefully it'll be an exciting change for them.
Will the humans be able to kill each other, or will they just be, we're not going to get outgunned by someone turning up with their Jupiter or whatever?
No,
humans got a Jupiter.
Yeah, humans will not be able to kill each other and like turn each other into zombies.
Okay.
But they will be able to stun each other. They'll be able to wound or root or some combination of the two.
Okay.
Which will basically just involve humans being unable to fire their blasters while they're wounded and being unable to move while they're rooted.
Okay, yeah. But, if you've played any Nerf games before, you'll be familiar with those things. Okay, cool. Anything else from you guys, Ashton, Ali, before we move on to your tips? And I'll start with Ashton because you're at the top.
I have cooked up some nefarious classes over this year that Jules has seen,
okay.
And that they will be being deployed in full force.
Right.
He's got the Doomsday book full of the malicious stuff that he's.
I do still have the Doomsday book, yes.
He really is the evil mod of all time.
I don't know if I want to come to this game now excited or a little bit scared.
Both is good.
First mission, I won't be too mean. Second mission onwards, whatever I think up, I'm just going to give to a zombie and go run.
Gosh. That is slightly terrifying. Okay, so Ashton, back to you then. So we'll talk about the 3rd out of 4 things that we've come to talk about today, which is loadouts. I'll just put that in the chat, see if anyone who's watching wants to tell us what they've got, or if they've got any questions. Like can I bring my double proton pack? They can ask us that now. So we'll roll tips for mods and loadouts together. So we know what to expect from the rules. We know what to expect from the human side. We know a little bit what to expect from the zombie side because there's no OZs. There'll be a starting horde. So if you just let me know, starting with Ashton, and then we'll go Ali and Jules because you guys are in that order. And I'd love it if I could hear from you what your tips as moderators are for gameplay and for loadouts. and how to get the most out of the game as a human, or particularly a zombie, because I think we've covered a lot of human stuff so far.
So gameplay tip: if it's weighing you down, don't carry it. I have gotten Jules on things he's been carrying more times than I can even express. Like the bottom of his obscenely long poncho.
Hey, the poncho is cool.
Yeah, it cost me almost my left leg, but I got you.
It's true.
And then gameplay tips, I would just say always look behind you, always check. You know, if a bush looks like you could hide in it,
Yeah.
there's someone hiding in it.
Rosa. It was Rosa. It was Rosa every
yeah.
time last year.
Never present any taggable surface. Like if your mags stick out of your back and a zombie grabs one, you're dead. Yeah, and carry water and carry snacks, but don't do what Snacktical Tactical did and die unwrapping a Snickers bar. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
That honestly sounds like something I would do.
He stood there. He had a tactical vest here full of like snacks. Like everyone else's was full of darts. He just had snacks, and he would pass them out to humans at safe zones. And at one point, he was like, "Right, who wants a Snickers bar?" He opened it up, and the moment he got the Snickers bar out, like 4 zombies grabbed him from behind because everyone was waiting for Snickers bars. 10 out of 10 for morale. Yeah, bring water, bring snacks. Someone last year had a Camelback. That was a great idea.
That was me. Camelback. At least you just need it. It's crazy trying to go out for that length of time. And I didn't think I'd need the 2 litres on the back, and I considered something smaller actually, but I needed every drop of that. I was refilling it all the time. It was really, really useful. I was one of those people who was wearing quite light stuff as well because I'm really sweaty as a human, and as a zombie actually. Zombies still sweat, it seems. And that Camelback just probably made the difference between having a fine time and just being absolutely knackered. So that's my tip. I'm not supposed to be getting in on this, but yeah, I definitely had a Camelback. It was wonderful. I saw one in a charity shop today for £1.75. So I could have had 2 Camelbacks. That wouldn't have helped.
That will do.
But yeah, it's totally worth the weight penalty. Just do it. Go to Decathlon and buy whatever bladder they've got and throw it in your bag. Great. So Ali, zombie side maybe then, if you're.
Sure. So yeah, as you know, I usually play zombie. I've recently played human like once. That was interesting. I was very stupid because I like suiciding. And just running directly. I played so silly. I walked out. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go and kill these 2 zombies. I get sidetracked immediately, so it's fine. But yeah, as a zombie player, tips for zombies: go as a group, but like 2s. Not too big, not too small. It really depends. Try for stealth, especially with very fast firing blasters, because if you can hide, wait, and tag a leg, you are much more likely to be successful than like running directly at the person with no distractions. Conversely, team up with someone else just tries to distract them as much as possible. You sneak around the side and you get tags. It's just like best decoy system that you can have is basically someone who's bigger, faster, stronger, who will look like more of a threat to you than some tiny. I'm 5'6". I'm very small compared to most of the guys who play HVZ. It's very sad. But yeah, like if someone bigger, taller than me is running and looks like more of a threat, I can sneak around the side and tag backs, and that's the easiest way sometimes to get there. What else? Yes, please carry water. I do not want to fill in any forms that I do not have to. I despise paperwork. Please make sure that your blood sugar is high enough to continue the game, so you don't get dizzy, because I know I do. I have to eat periodically, even if I'm not doing any exercise, like every human, but a little bit more often. So I don't keel over. But yeah, because it's going to be hot, please be careful. Oh, carry band-aids. This sounds silly, but carry a first aid kit. I have scraped every single piece of skin off of my body playing playing HVZ, you're always gonna want a band-aid and like some alcohol wipe to just like swipe it over, and keep that safe because you don't want an infection.
That's a really good one.
That's
Actually.
my zombie thing. Conversely, on the human side, everything that you can do as two people. Don't be brave. Don't run into a horde of zombies thinking that you're like fucking Rambo. It's not gonna work. You're gonna die.
Yeah, it's a good tip. It's a good
So
tip
have
on
fun.
the good tip on the having fun is number one aim, isn't it? The tip about the band-aids is actually pretty good. It was another podcast, like probably 5 Minute Respawn again, that I was listening to of all the injuries, and I was hanging out, with my friends and their kids, and they're all legging it around on tarmac, and I'm like, how do these children not just scrape all their skin off? I'm like, I'm scared of going to the zombie game now. That I might fall over on tarmac.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Especially when you're reaching around when you're reaching around like bricks and stuff, you scrape your arm. Even if you don't intend to. Oh, here's another tip because that just reminded me. If you two, you're there on my screen.
Yeah.
If you two remember from do you remember the Finn thing where I tagged the same person 3 times in the same game by hiding in the same place and luring them there? That was brilliant. Do that. If you have an interpersonal relationship with another player who is on the human side, you are a zombie, lure them somewhere, say, yeah, I can get you something, yeah, I could do this, get them to walk down somewhere, walk up behind them and tag them. I did that 3 times in the same game. There was so many respawns. That was brilliant. I rather enjoyed that.
That is really good. That's a really good
Yeah.
tactic. So, Jules, then we've covered zombies pretty well. We've done a bit of human stuff. What, as long as you don't just tell everyone to run a stampede, because I did last year and it was terrible, which is my modding ability, not necessarily your fault. But what are your tips for as a mod for this game particularly, and for loadouts, maybe with a bit more of a human focus? I know zombies walking band-aids, yes.
For humans, I would say that small and maneuverable blasters are the key. Stampedes obviously are very fun. I picked one up myself a little while ago. I love them. And big things like the Worker Phoenix 2.0 is decent size, but anything larger than that is just zombie bait, really. You walk around the corner, if your barrel doesn't get around fast enough, somebody will grab the barrel, you're dead. If you're trying to run away and you've got it slung over your back, somebody can catch up and tag you on the back, you're dead. Handheld guns, I'm partial to the hammer shot. I'm a hammer shot fiend. I've got a lot of them now. But anything small that you can get around a corner quickly, that you can fire off quickly, that's key. Also, and as mentioned before, but traveling around in groups and always making sure that you're watching behind you. The amount of people that die just from not checking behind them, not really paying attention. Yeah. Not really paying attention to what's going on behind them. They're the ones who get dropped off first, unfortunately.
First mission day 2, that was me. But I don't pay attention to what's going on in front of me. Like, I've had 2 people ask me if I've been tagged yet in last year's Invitational. I was just milling around with my Stampede thinking, like, why is this making so many weird noises and why aren't the darts coming out? And someone's like, have you been tagged yet? And I'm like, hammer shot? Boom, no. And they're like, oh, you've tagged me. And I'm like, oh, thank God, I got away with it. But I didn't get away with it day 2. I was gone, mission 1. So there we are. Wonderful. Okay, and any other things from any of you for this game in particular? Any tips that people coming from last year will think, oh no, that's different, or is it all very much of a muchness in terms of what people bring? How are we planning to deal with as well as that? Sorry, how are we planning to deal with the proliferation of nightingales? I know as zombies, they only have like a 10-12 dart mag. So unless someone's running 2 of them, it's a bit of a reload fest. But
yeah, I have 1.
Nightingales are very, very good.
They're incredibly effective, aren't they?
Yeah, there's nothing I can say about them that's going to make it easier for zombies to deal with, because they fire quickly. In terms of actual Nerf blasters, and especially compared to stock things, they've got a relatively good magazine capacity. And like I said, small and maneuverable, you can fire the darts off quickly. They're basically the perfect blaster. The only thing I'd say for zombies, for how to deal with it, is wait for the reload. Just count, not necessarily count how many have been fired, but when you see somebody reach down to reload, that's when you've got to run in there.
Yeah.
But for zombies especially, the kind of firepower they get to bring to the Invitational, you don't want to charge them. Stealth and being sneaky and hiding in bushes. That's the key to success as a zombie, especially
If you're
against
afraid of spiders, I am so sorry.
yeah, especially against things like the Nightingale. There's not much you can do.
Yeah,
We'll definitely,
you just
we'll definitely
take the L and walk away.
We'll definitely be giving the zombies the tools to deal with any firepower that they come across.
Mm.
The perfect 256-man undead Macedonian phalanx.
Yes.
We do have some things.
We will definitely give them the tools to the best of our ability to deal with any firepower they come across. So, like, charging just as a horde, unless you hit critical mass. The critical mass is what I call the point at which you have more bodies than they have darts. Unless you hit critical mass very quickly, charging them head on isn't going to work. But if you have 5 guys with tower shields in front, like your 5 biggest guys with tower shields, and then 20 little speedy guys behind them, you can get right up close to the humans and then deploy the runners, and that always tends to work. Or last time when we gave them a tank.
Yeah.
Tanks always work.
Maybe we can recap
Prop
in a while
problems.
about the Hound Masters. They were pretty good for that.
Oh, I love that mechanic.
Our masters also
I've-
work, yes.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been pushing to include that in a couple of the missions, so look out for those.
Okay.
It is a surefire thing to appear.
So it sounds like there's a zombie counter then to the proliferation of nightingales. I'll say one more thing on that before we move on to stories, which is we've got a bit more time for, and that's fantastic because it's the fun bit, isn't it? But before that, Rosa's popped up in the chat, you may have seen, and said, "Fears the nightingale, but they should fear her more." So I don't know. I imagine Rosa got a ton of tags last year actually, but the last thing I was going to say was that I get the feeling, and just from playing in the 2022 game, that the level of firepower bought by, like, you know, people like me, like the middle-aged Nerf enthusiast, was slightly unexpected compared to the more casual players that you guys get in your, you know, it sounds like you've got a very committed player base, but they're not all sort of paramilitary, latest tech wielding fire teams, you know.
No, our guys for the most part use stock Nerf, stock X shot, whatever we can grab at the entertainer down in Staines, really.
Yeah.
Um,
So it was a bit of a step change last year to see all these people, and the Spamp. I think the Spamp ruled supreme last year. I wish I had one of those last year.
Oh yeah,
it was
definitely.
Just perfect. Just like a little chest rig or a belt with a few mags and a Spamp. Job done, I thought. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Rosa got at least 6 tags last year. That's pretty good. I got 1 tag, I think, in my 2 days of playing zombies. I'm no expert. Okay, cool. So we'll go around in the same order then, with and pitch in on each other's stories. And again in the chat, I'll just let everyone know. You know, give us your stories now, guys. We had a few things to cover. What I might do, I'll go out of order slightly and start with you, Ali, because I'm quite interested as a career zombie player to hear about some of your finest tags, either from last year or from your non-invitational games, because there's some really I saw some excellent tags just in the invitational, and I bet there's been a load more. Rosa's just noted in the chat actually that your normal players do use off-the-shelf goofy stuff. I mean, what have I got? There's a Terror Scout behind me with a dinosaur head on it. I don't think that's going to see any play, but yeah, those kind of like dino blasters and stuff, they're fun. Okay, so back to it. We'll cover that. I was going to just mention Ollie's last stand last year, because their last stand was amazing. When we last spoke, there was mention of somebody called Timo and also Alex's zombie ambushes. So we'll try and cover some of those bits before we wrap up and thank everybody. But if I start with you, Ali, for your finest tags, because I saw some good stuff last year, and you guys must know the campus really well now.
Yeah, so I obviously wasn't there for the last invitational, so I can only give you the tags that I've been inflicting on people for the past academic year. So
fine.
you just talked about Timo, so I tagged him. He saw me coming around the corner. He ran, tried to hide. We walked up, whatever. We knew we weren't going to catch him because Buddy's lightning quick and I'm like half his height, right? So he shoots me, that's fine, I take my headband off, that's fine. So I'm a friendly person, I like to think, and me and Timo are friends. So he sits down to chat with me while my stun timer is ticking. So I keep him engaged and talking. He has his blaster pointed at me, waiting for my thing to, like, you know, cool down, wait. And I keep the topic off of it for a while, blah, blah, blah. My stun timer runs out. I don't put my headband on just yet, because I'm like, oh, I'll do it in a minute. he turns around. He's like, oh yeah, let me just check his bag or something. He takes his blaster away from me, put my thing on, go, hey Timo. So he dies. Also there was, okay, my finest moment has to be as a zombie. I was one of the few starting zombies. Aston, you were here for this. I was the only zombie who turned up to this mission. Now, this was again, yeah, I was the only zombie who turned up to this mission. Alex, who was last year's secretary, he walked up, tried to give. He was playing human. He was in play, and he came to give Aston, who was modding, some stuff for the game, and I was doing something. So he goes. Aston goes, oh, you're in play. You know, I was like, oh yeah, I can be live. And he goes, is Ali in play? And I go, mm-hmm. I got my little headband on, and he goes, oh. So he starts walking backwards with his, like, what was it, like a 2 or 3 like ring jump, just starts like walking backwards.
A double strike.
Yeah, he does. I don't do guns. I run at people and like high five.
It was a double strike. It was a 2-shot.
So I walk up to him. He tries to shoot at me. He misses. He's this far away from me. He misses. I go, sorry, Alex, and you know, I tag him. So I was the only zombie in the game. So the way that the game was, like, mechanics worked for that was there was like houses of zombies. So it ended up being sort of a competition as to which house could get the most, basically, children who could build their lineage. I had, I think, every single zombie in the game that ended up was one of mine. So that was very cool. So I have many descendants now, so that was great. Another one at the time, yeah, the Finn situation, which I explained, I lured the same person because they didn't have a blaster and I had one spare, so I was like, yeah, sure, come down to my house, come down, I'll come give you one. So, you know, the walk down to the hub, there's like the little donation boxes, like British Heart Foundation and that sort of thing. I hid behind one of those, and I knew that Finn would walk down the exact same route every single time because they don't like going the long way. So I just stood there, waited. They walk past. I walk up behind them. They see me. We chase each other around hub grass for about 20 minutes, but I'm more athletic than them, so I just out-stamina'd them. Just kept running until they couldn't anymore. Then I tagged them. The game wiped the same day, and then I did the exact same thing the next. That was great.
And they didn't expect it the second time?
No, actually, they were very upset with themselves for doing the exact same thing again and falling for it again. They did get me back though. I was playing another game. I was playing human because it was an MVP. Well, I think it was the same actually. It was the same game. Last mission, MVP mission. MVPs played human. The rest of them played zombie. Finn was playing zombie. I was playing human. I was one of the I think I was the second last human alive somehow. I had like 2 dots left in actually no, I think I had like 4 left in my hammer shot. I was walking down the Born Cube stairs. I knew I was gonna die. I walked down and I'm like, okay, 2 people hiding behind pillars. Bang bang, they're both out. Someone walks up behind me, goes, sorry, Ellie. And I go, my fate has been sealed. So those are my coolest stories. I don't think I can think of any more. I've been mostly modding for the past few months, to be honest.
It's tough, isn't it, when you're not playing? That sounds really, really fun, actually. Is Born Cube the bit where there are it's like a courtyard and then there's some other bits?
Yeah, it's like courtyard and then there's Born. It's like the nice massive glass building and it has like these 2 sets of stairs on each side. There's a very, very narrow one that has no escape except up or down. Now, I can run all day. Up, downstairs, fine. I can't outrun a lot of people in terms of speed, but I can out-stamina them most of the time. I'm not going to lie, man. There was no escape. There were, like, hordes of them from each side. There was no way, unless I was, like Superman, that I could fly over the building that was getting out of this. I was just like, I'm accepting my fate. This is fine.
Nice. Yeah, that was my only tag last year was in that area when somebody was two of us were hiding in the bushes and they chased the humans out. The guy got tagged and or stunned, sorry, and then the humans just like wandered around the corner and started chatting to each other. They're like, "Oh, there was one in the bushes," and I was like, "No, there wasn't. There was two in the bushes." I'm like sneaking up behind the pillars, and I managed to just get the tip of somebody's blaster. But yeah, it's an interesting bit. Presumably that's going to feature in this year's game as well as some kind of. It was a collection point, wasn't it, for power-ups?
We always love putting things in ball and cube because it's one of the only two places on campus where if you put yourself in a specific place, there's no escape.
Yeah, you just can't run.
Management.
I love management. It's my favorite place because there's so many corner tags to come.
I hid in a lot of bushes in management last year and sneaked like pretend.
The wonders of bush camping are great because you get so many tags, but I personally would never be able to do it because I'm terrified of spiders and I can't do bugs most of the time. So if I'm sitting there, I would get found out immediately because literally anything moves, I'm like, ah! And then they'd find me. So
yeah, outside of the forest, unfortunately, the university has just decided to declare war on bushes, so they're all gone.
Yeah.
So zombies have had, because like there's not many places now for zombies to hide compared to last year. This year we've put in our local games and the invitational, we've put in a few we gave the zombies more defensive stuff that was like shields and ways to come back and stuff. Because like you could say, oh yeah, they'll just sit in this bush, and then you would go and walk the route and you'd see the bush was all gone. It was just dirt.
That's tricky, isn't it? Yeah, I remember doing a lot of hiding. Woodland was where I thought we were going to get a ton of tags in the 2022 Invitational. However, it was much harder. The bushes were further from the path than they needed to be, given all the.
And they've been sheared even further back.
Yeah, but Forest Pass does still have a good few hiding locations.
Yeah.
Especially when it gets darker for evening missions. There are some scary places on Forest Path that will get you by surprise.
Although I don't think the sun will set in time for most of the scary, spooky, dark stuff nowadays, does it?
No, maybe not.
I did remember something else. Do you remember when we a group of zombies scared humans so badly they refused to come onto campus? That was good. I stood in like December weather with a hoodie for 4 hours just waiting outside back gate for these humans to come out, and they never did. They got too scared. So, and then we went and got McDonald's afterwards. Midnight McDonald's run.
Oh yeah, they refused to go onto campus because they thought there was a single zombie in the bush.
Yeah, there was like 4 of us, but
that's the best thing I can think of. Well, not even in the best tag, a best escape from a tag, and also sort of a cautionary tale was Sajan eating the concrete. Do you guys remember that? So there was for people who know the campus or people who were there last year, you remember the SU shop at the front of the library, or a bunch of benches there. That's where briefing was for. I think it was the final mission of the game, and it was the first local game that we did this year. Buy one get one free, and final mission. Last 5 or 6 humans still alive. Everybody else had been turned. And we were basically told that here's route you've got to follow. You guys aren't going to make this. There are mods on the radio. All right, there are 5 humans and 23 zombies. Oh, okay, good job. Good luck, lads. We get the go ahead, and everybody basically at this point knows where the zombie briefing is, and it is right next to us. Our first location is all the way along the concrete at the end, past the SU building, up onto Founders. We need to get there as quickly as possible. And so as soon as we get the go-ahead, the entire human group sprints out. We can see a horde chasing behind us. I think Charlie and Timo and Louis especially are like pulling ahead of the others, really, really gunning for us. Sajan, along the concrete path in front of like the big glass windows of the building, trips over something, falls, and goes straight down. Goes down hard. He gets back up.
Pancake clap.
Yeah. He gets back up, dazed, and then keeps going, makes it 3 steps, and then goes down again. Bro, we've introduced a few more safety procedures since that game, and we have encouraged people to control their speed a bit more. But credit to him, credit where credit's due. He gets back up again, and just keeps on gunning it. And a couple of us run back to try and support him, pick off a few that are gaining on him, and he manages to escape, manages to come along and get back to the rest of the humans when we move on. But Sajan eating the pavement twice within 10 seconds is always burning my brain since that happened.
Yeah. And if you've watched the Safety with Sajan video, you will also see George eating a stop sign.
I think Sajan still has the scars on his hips when he fell over them.
Yeah.
He does,
Yeah. So be careful with the
And you
concrete.
guys know.
It's because when he got like stitched up or whatever, he kept showing us.
Yeah.
He walked into my living room and said, "Do you want to see my scar?"
Challenge.
Oh. So is that the worst injury that you've had over the years? Some stitches, or is there more?
I think it might be.
I think it might. I
It's
heard
the worst
about
I can think
someone
of, for sure.
breaking a bone over the last few years.
Not that I can remember.
Really? I don't remember who told me that, but I swear someone did.
It's almost a challenge now. Don't.
Yeah, no, nobody go for that particular challenge.
I'm gonna rack my old brain.
Ali's like looking at the form pile just increasing, going, no, don't.
I am not having fun with this. My pen only has so much ink.
No, I think the worst one I've seen was Sajan eating the concrete. Yeah, Timo has also eaten concrete in a funny manner, but he didn't get hurt.
That's good.
I remember when you ate the pavement, Jules.
Yeah, but that's a daily occurrence. That's not,
Yeah, we had to put new rules in place
Mr.
when
Just
I was
Scratch
president
himself.
because Jules kept almost killing himself and others.
Yeah, no. I swear,
Hey.
it was you who like decided to battering ram somebody, wasn't it?
No, that was not me.
Uh-huh.
No, that was.
totally not you,
I'm pretty
not
sure that
like-
was Sajan again. Not gonna lie.
No, not like a Jules-shaped like mound just running full pelt into some poor unsuspecting like victim. I swear it was you. I've heard this story.
They tripped up on the mud well before I got to.
Okay.
Jules used to put his headband on, sprint at people, yelling lines from Doom Eternal, and then I had to shoot him 5 or 6 times because he was so full of adrenaline and rage that the first few shots didn't register.
Oh, God.
He had a feel no pain, is how I put that.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Potion of
first year, I was
invisibility
committed,
and
man.
invincibility combined.
I was thinking, yeah, what were you doing, Jules? Were you jumping out of like second-story windows? But it sounds like you were just hyped. Yeah, feel no pain.
He would grab all of the shorter zombies around him, and then he would scream, "Charge!" They'd all come towards us, and he would lock eyes with me menacingly until I raised the ultra and fired like 2 pounds worth of ammo at him.
Is this when you were using actual ultra darts as well? Yeah.
Yeah. I've now, Jules got me a kit for my birthday, so I've now modded the ultra to take normals, and I've still got another kit I'm going to put in. But that was when I was firing actual ultra darts, because I thought they sounded funny.
Well, I remember I would I would fall over a lot, like regardless of minding speed, because everybody knows I've never had a problem with minding my speed. Yeah, I would trip over myself a lot because I'm just a clumsy kind of guy. But running after humans, tripping up and falling, and then still crawling along the ground trying to grab at their ankles. and I remember Aston back when he was president having to basically say, "Yeah, right, if you're down, you're down." Like, yeah, crawler zombies are terrible.
I did say to you that one point, you were in the mud scrambling for my leg. I think I shot you and said, "If you're down, you are down," and then you were like, "Oh."
I don't think there's actually been an instance when we've walked down the street together and you haven't just tripped over air or had to like hold onto my shoulder while your legs just collapse underneath you. Ever. I have been a walking cane too many times. I'm going to cause my own paperwork. Okay?
Oh, the one time that I tripped over that I can think of that wasn't my fault. I blame you, Aston, specifically, for no other reason, but I can't think of anybody else.
I see.
Final stand of the last invitational. Yeah, here we go.
That wasn't me. You can't blame me for that.
Can't I? Wearing the suit of power armor. If you remember the power armor from last year.
Yeah.
At this point, nobody else. It was just me left. I was running down the path from Bourne to the library. I'm told by the mods, if you can make it to Founders Field, that's it. You win the game. I'm going as fast as I can. I've got my lever action takedown strapped around my back. That's out of ammo. Oh no! I've got a couple rounds left. I'm firing back into the crowd of like everybody else.
I think brought every single zombie back in at this point, no matter where they were.
Didn't tell me.
I streamed it. You should listen.
Oh wow! Every single zombie was back alive. I had 3 shots my takedown, fired them off, and I'm just running down this pathway. The power armor disintegrates around me as I'm in full sprint. Like the helmet is the first to go, then the shoulder pads like break off, and then like the chest armor just falls to the side. The main like breastplate comes down around my ankles, and I'm running like with my pants down. I trip over, don't quite fall to the ground. By just the entrance of Forest Path, realize like I can't run like this. Game over, guys. Horde coming out. I've got a hammer shot in one hand and the worker hurricane in the other, sort of facing down the horde. Before I can fire a single shot, someone comes out the woods behind me.
I think it was Andrew, because I was facing Jules, he was facing me in the zombies, and then I could see something in the forest moving, and I was like, is that a zombie or like a deer? And then eventually it's the shape starts coming closer and closer, and I see the image of someone wearing a headband sprinting like this, like the scene from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs at Jules, right? And then just lunges, grabs both of his shoulders, and I'm like, yeah.
But I was denied my heroic final stand, going till I burn out of ammo. We got a combat knife. But no, it was very good tag on.
And then Rosa, if you're still in chat, if you have any photos of the power armor, I beg you send one to Ali, because I don't think Ali has seen what we made Jules wear.
I think I need to.
I
have heard some like mythic level shit about
it. Was based on Minecraft diamond armor made out of
this
cardboard.
Is somehow worse knowledge.
And then on the back, it had a celebrations tin taped to it. And at every location, the humans had to open the celebrations tin and put a power core in, which was like a little, like, it looked like a froob, basically. They would put a froob in Jules' back, and then that would power up the armor and give him like 30 seconds of invulnerability or something. I can't remember what the mission was. And so eventually, they just had to run for the field. And Jules looked at me and said, "Can I take this off?" I went, "No."
Okay. I am unironically making sure that someone has a celebrations tin and we get actual fruits and put them in there. And if the fruit explodes, so be it. Good lord. My iPad's dying. 1 second.
I was going to say that the props and stuff were a standout last year. It was hilarious. The power armor was really good. There was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff kicking around that was really good, actually. I remember repairing some of it with some gaffer tape at one point, but I can't remember what that was.
Yep. There was talk of buying industrial strength cardboard for this.
No! You wanted to buy industrial strength cardboard. The rest of us said no.
I'm down for the cardboard.
No, you're banned from Amazon for the rest of eternity. It's never happening. Don't you dare.
Good cardboard.
No,
it's free.
You take 2 pieces, you glue them together, and then I beat you over the head with it.
Hey.
We were talking about with we've got a mission which needed some added spiciness, and we decided we'd give the zombies some classes and some new flavour stuff. But we were worried about how we would do it and have the props they had to hold not fall apart. So naturally on the board we wrote things like super glue, duct tape, even Rosa suggested building it like a wall, so like 2 bits of cardboard there and then 1 bit there and like sitting together. And then Jules is like, "Oh yeah, industrial strength cardboard is only £15 for 10 sheets," and we're like, "No."
It was £15 for one sheet, actually.
I see,
Oh
right,
god, I
was.
found it.
It was,
Yeah, alright, Rose has posted it in the group chat.
Posted it in the group chat. It's just amazing, isn't it? It's
oh lord, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there's Ryan wearing it.
Yeah.
I think Ryan got tagged and it went to Jules.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
oh god, there
He
you go.
looked like a Roblox character!
Yeah, it was based on Minecraft armor.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is before it started to disintegrate.
Adventure Time television. I don't know what to tell you.
He looked like Beemo. Beemo
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Wait, sorry, I should have some kind of way of pulling the thing in, but I didn't set that up, so my fault. Yeah, it was brilliant. And actually, shout out to Al of Monkey Mods. I think he captured quite a bit of the final mission in his video from last year. So
yeah, he's got a great
video.
video.
That thing like shuffling around.
Yeah, it was a waddle.
It was
by the
really
end.
good.
It's true waddle.
I think Al's probably got the, I don't know if he has got the complete accolade, but I certainly filmed a load of stuff. I saw lots of other people with cameras, but it's only Al, I think, who got a video out that I've seen. So I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, it was a really good sort of overview of the second day.
I think Dan Arthur from Nottingham, he did upload them to his Google Drive and edit them, but he didn't put them on like YouTube or anything.
Oh yes, I saw that. Was that
The link is in
the Discord?
Yeah, I think the link is in 28. I'll say it somewhere.
Wonderful. So, for more stories, we've got about a quarter of an hour left, so another sort of 5 minutes per story maybe. I'll just go quickly have a chat about Ollie's last stand. Does anyone remember that from last year? That was one of the standout moments for me because Ollie, like, they were fast. They were fast. Yeah. I thought I was fast, but I'm like 40-year-old man, so I'm not that fast. My colleague, Mr. Frog, we called him, a mountain bike racer, was much faster than me, despite being slightly older and not actually a runner. So there we are. So we were chasing Ollie around for ages, and they had their what is that shotgun called? The rough cut. Yeah, they had their rough cut, and we're just reloading from pockets. You know, like really good run and gun type play style. And finally cornered them up some steps and got enough zombies together, like, you know, more zombies than there are shots in a rough cut. And I just remember, like, this chase had gone on for probably, I don't know, maybe an hour of just 3 or 4 people surrounding Alex, and then they'd sort of charge in that kind of kung fu movie one at a time way, get tagged, a couple of them, then Alex would just take off and they'd just run really fast and reload on the go, and by that point they'd gone anyway because none of us could keep up. But yeah, it culminated with the top of the stairs and saying, "You're all going to play fair, aren't you? And get out the way when I tagged you." And I think it took about 10 or 12 zombies to finally tag Alex at the top of a stairway, and people were still scared. They were still like quite nervous to go in and make the tags. The other thing I was going to remind you guys of, obviously we talked about Timo, who's another very fast person who I don't remember seeing last year. And maybe they were too fast.
No, he wasn't there.
Couldn't make it.
And then there was Alex, who, like you say, was your secretary's zombie ambushes, which I remember many times just coming out of nowhere, like where I thought there couldn't even be a human-shaped thing. Were there? Yeah, were there any of those that that stood out for you? I mean, I remember Alex definitely came out of a doorway, and I remember him laying underneath a sleeper. On like literally this one railway sleeper, I can't remember where that is on campus, and managed to tag Rosa's foot instead of one of the humans because she walked over as a mod. But yeah, I was in the woods as a zombie looking down thinking this is going to be amazing. But there were so many of those sort of moments last year where people were just really surprised with like the ingenuity of some of the zombie players.
The stairs leading from Backgate up to the sort of main campus up past Runnymede and Reed. Big sort of concrete stairs with iron railings, bushes on each side. The bushes, I think the bushes are still around.
They are,
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Very good.
I have no idea how it's even possible for a person to get in there. Like, they are so thick and so
I've
thick.
seen it happen.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it happen. But it shouldn't be possible.
It's called you're very small and you resign yourself to a lot of scratches by branches.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jules, I don't think
hiding in there.
I don't think all 6 foot of you is really
No.
big. For...
Well,
No.
I'm not a bush zombie.
6 foot,
As
6'3".
we've established. Yeah.
Bro is a mountain.
I tried to be a
But,
zombie last year, and I don't think I made it. Not because I'm particularly large, but because I'm just really unstealthy. I was just hiding in the bushes, and people were like, "Oh, there's someone in there," and I'm like, "I'm sure I've been as quiet as I possibly can be," but they could see me a mile off, and then like 3 or 4 humans had come to me, and there's no way I could get to them before they got to me.
But last game that happened to me. The last game we played on campus, I was one of the first 2 starting zombies. And I ran over to a thin, like not dense bush, and sat behind it because there were 2 starting zombies and 15 humans or something. And I was sat in this bush. My other zombie was on the other side of a building to me, like through an alleyway. And I was sat there, like the game has been on for 5 seconds. I'm sat in this bush. I'm crouched. I'm perfectly still. And one of the humans I hear say, "Oh, there's someone in that bush." And I've gone, "Oh, right. I'm rumbled. That's it. It's over. I'm rumbled." Our stun timer was a minute, so there were 2 of us, but whatever. I was like, "Oh, they're going to shoot me here." And then they walk past, and no one does anything.
Oh, God.
Like, I heard one of them say, "He's in there, shoot him." No one shoots me, not even the person that says, "He's in there, shoot him." So I end up running, hunched over. I lunge. I get our new treasurer, Eddie. I grab them. 12 seconds into the game is the first tag. Then they sort of look around bewildered, like, where did he come from? Why did no one shoot him? And then I turn around, realizing I've not been stunned yet because all of the humans are looking at me as if I just teleported. And I went, "Oh, okay." And I walk towards them, and then I get lit up with a fury of foam. But I looked around. I was like, "Yeah, that was one of my best tags ever." They saw me, they ignored me, and I just lunged.
Nice. I had that when I was in a bush in the woodland, but it was Pete and Ryan and some of the other guys. They like, "Someone in there," and they had a big discussion about it between themselves over whether there was or there wasn't, and they did just come and tag me basically. Or just stun me. So, but unfortunately, if they'd have done that, I might have had more of a chance to get them. But I wasn't clever like you. I wasn't operating in a pair except for when Ben was knocking around briefly. I was trying to do all this by myself, and it was not good zombie tactics.
One of the new rules that we've got, new for the invitational, the no OZs. I was one of the biggest proponents for scrapping OZs because of my my chronicle of either up until about midway through this year, I had a weird sort of streak of either winning outright first place every game I was in, or dying immediately first person killed by an OZ, and that happens every game,
every single time,
without fail. I died immediately first within 10 minutes of the game starting, or winning, which is nice. But Carmel, there was one specific game. I can't quite remember. Yeah, I can't quite remember which game it was. I think it might have been. One of the charity games. I'm not sure. And either way, Carmel was a person in our society who was an OZ, and he had shown up with I don't even know what it's called, a single shot breech loaded pistol. It is quite possibly the worst Nerf gun for HVZ I can even conceive of.
Is that a knockout? I've got a knockout here somewhere. That's a single shot breech loading thing.
But with darts, and about 10 years older than the knockout with full length darts.
I can't think what
Snapfire, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It's truly, truly awful. And he came out first night of night play, doing a mission with just this before OZ's release. The guy's obviously an OZ. I remember thinking to myself, and even talking to my other humans who are out there with him, who were out there together, saying, "All right, keep your eye on him. Look what he's got. He's an OZ." And I still managed to forget or be stupid enough to go into an alleyway alone with him, and then turn my back on him and die immediately. And it was awful.
I have a feeling you forgot.
Yeah, most likely. Most likely.
In the first invitational, Jules got OZ. He wasn't the first victim, but he got OZ tagged. It might have been Moderators, I can't remember. He got OZ tagged like halfway through the first mission, and he got so confused he thought he was an OZ. So like 4 or 5 people come up to me and they said, "Am I dead? Jules just tagged me and said I'm tagged." I went, "What? No, he's not an OZ." So then I had to tell all these people to stop unloading their blasters because they were alive and just go and stand over there in the corner. And I put them back in the game in a sec. I went over to Jules and said, Jules, what are you doing? And he goes, shh, I'm an OZ. I got tagged now and I'm an OZ. And I went, what?
Not only was that not the case, I don't think that has ever been the case in any of the games.
It has once.
Yeah.
They did a mechanic a few years ago where if you got tagged by an OZ, you became an OZ, and the OZ just walked off and became a zombie.
Oh, that's brutal.
Which led to a chain of OZ tags in the middle of a crowd, and then 5 people being like, where do I go? What do I do?
Yeah. I got confused. I'll put my hands up for that one. I got confused. but hey.
He's a little bit silly.
He's a little bit silly. OZs are gone now. Very happy about that.
Silly counter 1 million.
OZs are gone. We never needed them. The Horde is the way forward.
Very good.
It's kind of a shame, because I feel like I never really experienced OZs, but at the same time I'm kind of glad, because I am indeed stupid enough to just trust someone and high-five them and immediately die.
Buy one, get one free had OZs. I think it was.
I don't think I played that game.
Yeah.
I don't think I played that game because my friend Finn, the one that I lured into many a back alley, they only got me into it, I think second game of the year.
Bad Blood was the second week long.
So we've got a couple of minutes then before we reach our sort of hard stop of 5 o'clock for all of our chat and stories and stuff. It might be useful then to just talk about in that 5 minutes before I say thank you to everyone, etc. About what the new mechanic is in a little bit more detail, if you've got any, because OZs, I understand how that works. I've played some smaller games with other mechanics, but is there anything you can say, or are you keeping it under wraps about how we're going to encounter the Horde, or whether it's going to be PvP plus Horde? It sounds like maybe to get the Horde off the ground this time.
So how we get the Horde off the ground this time is very simply just more zombies. It'll just be a bigger. I think there were 3 starting zombies and 3 OZs last time. I think we're going to try and do between 6 to 10 starting zombies this time from anyone who applies. And I think it's already on the form that you fill in when you buy your ticket. If not, we'll put a separate form out. Just more zombies, more chances for tags. You guys have the firepower to deal with. You're not going to get wiped out if there's 6 starting zombies. You got the firepower to deal with it. If it was 6 guys with shields, maybe. But six normal ones, you guys can all deal with it, but some of you may die. So
is that going to be because it did last year? I don't know if it was because of a wipe. It looked like it was intentional that it reset for the second day. So if you're tagged out mission 1 day 1, you're not going to be zombie all weekend.
So
you don't want to be.
We try and run these games as 2 separate. So it's an overall game, but we try and run it as 2 separate 1-day events, meaning that we have a team of zombies and humans for the first one, and a team of zombies and humans for the second one. What this lets us do is basically on the start of the second day, as the nature of the game, being a zombie is permanent until you make everyone else a zombie. But if you want to try being a zombie, try being a human, whatever, on the second day, you just get to pick. So we'll put out a form at the end of day 1 that's like, hey guys, message me if you want to be a zombie, and then you can be a zombie, we'll tell you. It just lets people try out both. I know the entirety of the University of East Anglia last time decided to just throw it to the wind and just say, yeah, we'll go zombie. Even all the kit they'd come with, all the ammo boxes and stuff, they're like, yeah, we want to play zombie. Then we had a load of our guys play human instead, who had like stock Nerf blasters next to people with phoenixes and nightingales. And then UEA was zombies, and they did really, really well for people that have never started a game before.
That's really good to know. And so it's not like Troll Squad where you have them for 1 mission. It's you can start as a zombie and you're a zombie for day 1, but then you can change back.
Yeah, we just because of numbers, we weren't a massive fan of Troll Squad when we thought about it. But we've got a lot of very dedicated, like Ali, very dedicated, very lethal zombies who, if we say, hey, do you want some brains, they'll just go yes.
Brains, please.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, because a lot of the time, for some of these games, people enjoy playing human, and that's all right. I mean, I don't really mind, but as I said, whenever I feel like, oh, maybe I'll play human, I always say, if you don't have enough zombies, put me on the list. It's fine, because it's always good to have enough starters to really get the game going. And to be honest, the more you start with, the quicker the game can wipe, the quicker you can restart and play human if you want. But you know, it's all about just teamwork and playing the game. I mean, even if like obviously H and Z are, we're enemies by the game, but we all want each other to have fun and stuff. So
Yeah, it was. I played probably half and half, slightly more zombie last year, and it was really good fun both sides. I must say, the invitational was spot on. It worked really well, and it was just really good laugh for 2 days. So thank you all for that. We've come to time, so thank you, Ali, Ashton, Jules for joining us. It's been really good to chat. If I don't speak to you all before, I will look forward to seeing you at the game. Thank you for everyone in the chat for joining in as well. And a special thanks to Rosa, who's been in the background trying to sort this, that and the other out for us all. And me with my technical issues and everyone else that you've all bared with, including Rosa, so that's very kind of you. We'll leave it there. I'll have a look at the stream later tonight and try and cut it up into sort of chunks that can be put in the description. And otherwise, it's been wonderful to talk to you all, and I'll see you all in about 4 weeks' time.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for hosting. I'll see you then.
Brilliant, thank you, and I'll see you all
Right,
later.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much.